Mazuma TV back in the building, man. What's going on, y'all? Shout out to Mazuma Nation. Shout out to the Mazuma Mob. We in the building as always, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive day. I'm just chilling at work right now, man. Just enjoying my break. Back at y'all with some more boxing talk. We on the road to 2K, man. We about to hit that 1900 mark any second now. So shout out to the nation and the mob for making this possible. All right, y'all. I'm back at y'all with the boxing talk in regards to Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, man. I had put out a video previously, yesterday, I believe. So if y'all haven't seen it, go check that video out. I was pretty much just giving my breakdown of the fight and what Devin Haney did wrong. Now, I want to speak a little bit more into detail about the psychological warfare behind the fight and how pretty much this had led to Devin Haney's shortcoming in this fight. You feel what I mean? Psychological warfare is something that is a constant theme in boxing. We've seen several cases where, people lost the psychological battle and in turn had lost the fight shortly afterwards. And I think this is what's definitely played a part in Devin Haney losing to Ryan Garcia, in my opinion. You feel what I mean? It affects people more than others. Like I said, there's fighters that get motivated behind the trash talk and the antics and shit like that and come out even sharper. And then there's people who ultimately fall apart as a result of, feeding into the trash talk and stuff like that. Most recently, I would say Teofimo Lopez became a victim to the psychological warfare that George Kambosos and his team was putting on him. You feel what I mean? So I think this is what happened to Devin Haney. And let's just speak into specifics and what happened. Now, in all honesty, man, I think that, Devin Haney, he approached the fight in a totally wrong way. You feel what I mean? Because as we've seen Devin Haney throughout his career, it's rare that we've ever seen him take something personal. You feel what I mean? I don't recall him ever taking anything personal with any fighters he's fought. I've seen him get into trash talk with guys like George Kambosos, Vasyl Lomachenko, and stuff like that. But, he still stuck to his game plan and stayed focused throughout the entire course of the fight, so it ultimately didn't affect him. And this fight with Ryan Garcia, I think it affected him dramatically. You feel what I mean? And it's because it's a little bit deeper than the Vasyl Lomachenko and George Kambosos fight. Like I said, these dudes have known each other since they was 8-9 years old. You feel what I mean? They've known each other for more than half their life, and they have a rivalry at the end of the day. They're rivals. Like, what else can I say, man? They were 3-3 in the amateurs, and maybe there was a sense of pressure on Devin Haney to, break that tiebreaker. You feel what I mean? I guess he wanted to separate himself from Ryan Garcia. He didn't want to feel like it was a rivalry between them. So the only way to get rid of that is by defeating the man convincingly. You feel what I mean? So that's the first thing that I think I've noticed. You know what I mean? He felt the necessity to just, take that approach. Now, another thing that I really wanted to get into was, the disrespect that Ryan Garcia had gave Devin Haney that ultimately threw him off. I think the straw that broke the camel's back, in all honesty, was, and Devin Haney had brought this up multiple times, so this lets me know that it really bothered him, and it was the disrespect to the man's religion. You know what I mean? Devin Haney, who's a devout Muslim, from what I understand, and a lot of Muslims in general don't really take kindly to disrespect about people's religion. We've seen it with one of Ryan Garcia's friends, disrespecting people while they in the middle of Ramadan and stuff like that, just degrading Islam as a whole, and the man paid a price for it. You feel what I mean? Devin Haney never exactly said what Ryan Garcia said about his religion, but regardless, you could tell that it really had an effect on him because he was bringing it up consistently throughout the buildup of the fight, and even had brought it up when it wasn't even mentioned by people who was conducting the interview. So you could tell that was something that was definitely in the back of his head. You feel what I mean? So the history between the two and the disrespect of religion, I think that's what broke the camel's back and made Devin Haney resort to doing things that was a little bit out of his character. Now, I think another thing that actually played a part in throwing Devin Haney off was, the antics that came from Ryan Garcia. You know what I mean? Whether he was on Instagram talking crazy, the drinking, the smoking, the partying, and stuff like that, it pretty much gave an impression in Devin Haney's mind that, Ryan Garcia isn't focused and he's not taking the fight serious. He has said it in multiple interviews that he doesn't know if Ryan Garcia is taking the fight serious or not. So in his head, he might feel like he has it in the bag. You feel what I mean? Maybe he was falling for Ryan Garcia's antics. He's even stated that he wasn't sure that Ryan Garcia was gonna make it to the fight as a result of the episodes that the man was having and stuff like that. So Devin Haney's head, I don't know exactly what he's thinking. You know what I mean? Only he knows. But I think it's safe to assume at this point with Ryan Garcia looking as if he's not focused on the fight or he's just underprepared, that in Devin Haney's mind, he feels like he got it in the bag because he's not leaving no stones unturned or anything like that. So maybe in his head, he was underestimating Ryan Garcia. Like, oh, he not training like I am. He not doing what I'm doing. So this about to be a cakewalk. I'm about to, like, pretty much looking at it as him taking advantage of a fighter who's lacking at this point in time. So it might have been a little bit of underestimating on Devin Haney's side as a result of that. You see what I mean? So with all of this being combined with the disrespect of religion, you know what I mean, it being personal between the two, them having a history, along with maybe a pinch of underestimating Ryan Garcia, pretty much caused Devin Haney to pretty much go off of the tracks in this fight. You feel what I mean? And what I mean by that is just going against the grain in terms of who he is as a fighter. We've been seeing Devin Haney fight for years. I've seen this man fight live and in person. And ever since I've seen this dude, he was a outboxer, you know what I mean, an athletic outboxer, somebody who sticks and moves, uses mobility, you know what I mean, likes to fight on the back foot, runs people into shots, set traps, has an amazing jab, you know what I mean, and he sets a lot of great combinations up off of the jab. When I seen him fight Ryan Garcia, I seen him go completely against the grain, man, going against what had made him successful and which led him to be an undisputed champion throughout his entire career, man. He didn't use his mobility at all. When he fought Ryan Garcia, and I guess he meant it when he had that conversation with Ryan Garcia in terms of meeting him in the center of the ring, I thought that was Ryan. I thought that was Devin playing psychological games with Ryan. You see what I mean? But it turns out he was dead serious, which lets me know that this was a personal thing for him and that he wanted to do something outside of his character in terms of getting the win with Ryan Garcia, which ultimately hurt him at the end of the day. You see what I mean? He didn't use his mobility. He wasn't sticking and moving like he typically does. And he was inconsistent with his jab overall. You feel what I mean? He was just not using his jab how he's supposed to. I've rated Devin Haney as somebody who has top 3 best jabs in boxing. That's just my personal opinion. And I think that's what led him. I think that punch in itself is the most important punch in boxing. Hence why he's been as successful as he has been in his career. Prior to Ryan Garcia, he was 31-0. You see what I mean? So I don't think you get to that point and beating guys like Lomachenko and, Cambosis and stuff like that, just being a regular dude. You see what I mean? Or not having a great jab. I test a lot of his victory behind, that strong tool that he has in his toolbox, his jab. You feel what I mean? So with him being inconsistent with it, it allowed Ryan Garcia to actually establish his offense. And with him abandoning his jab, especially in the mid to later rounds, it allowed Ryan Garcia to be first. And the last thing you want to do while sitting in the center of the ring with Ryan Garcia is let him be first. You see what I mean? Ryan Garcia has no problem letting his hands go at all, and he has a lot of pop behind that left hook. So what that allowed Ryan Garcia to do, in all honesty, was build his momentum. You know what I mean, and get him several knockdowns that had pretty much solidified the fight. With him getting 3 knockdowns, that's taking 6 points away from Devin Haney's scorecard. You feel what I mean? And if you go back to BoxRec and you check the scorecards between all 3 judges, if Devin Haney would have never gotten knocked down and would have gotten those 6 points, he would have won a unanimous decision. You see what I mean? So because Devin Haney took this approach, you know what I mean, and stood in front of the man and pretty much allowed this man to, establish his offense, it cost him the fight. You see what I mean? I just didn't understand the whole objective behind it. I understand you guys are... You guys have beef, you know what I mean? You say you wasn't going to shake the man's hand regardless of the decision. Y'all not going to be cool after this fight and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But you literally stood in the fire and then expected not to get burnt. You see what I mean? Well, Brother Nazim Richardson says swim without getting wet. It means, being able to hit the man and not getting hit. What you did was you sat in front of the man and you pretty much waited for him to get his offense off. Well, you're not a great defensive fighter when you are flat-footed. You feel what I mean? Devin Haney's defense is strictly based on, from what I've seen in his career, his mobility and his understanding of distance. But when you're allowing this man to come in within your domain and let combinations go, you just want to sit there and plant your feet, you putting yourself in a great amount of danger. We've seen it happen with Jorge Linares, but Jorge Linares had a lot of the rounds already lost, you know what I mean, before that. And, that wasn't the prime Linares that we would have seen, because if it was, it'd probably be a different story in all honesty, you feel what I mean? So what Devin Haney could definitely learn from all of this in all honesty is fight your fight and fight no one else's fight, man. Like, it's pretty much as simple as that. Don't do something that'll favor Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is a flat-footed dude who is very powerful, you know what I mean, and has a lot of hand speed. What you want to do is neutralize him for that. So how would you do that? Not allow him to set his feet. How are you not going to allow him to set his feet? Is if you constantly giving this man some type of movement. You know what I mean? If you standing in front of him, that's going to put him in a position where he'll feel comfortable enough to set his feet and let his hands go. You see what I mean? So that's that. Another thing, you definitely got to stay focused and not allow yourself to take things personal, regardless of what another man is saying. You see what I mean? We've seen great fighters like Tito Trinidad, Miguel Cotto, Shane Mosley, and stuff like that go up against Ricardo Mayorga. And Ricardo Mayorga would disrespect his family. You know what I mean? Like specifically, like disrespect family members, call them out their name, and everything under the sun. We've seen it happen with Mayorga and De La Hoya as well, but what they didn't do was carry that over to the ring. You know what I mean? Well, they probably did carry it over to the ring, but they didn't abandon their game plan or run away from who they were. You feel what I mean? So if Devin Haney is a athletic outboxer, and that's what he needs to be in order to be successful. You know what I mean? He had the tools necessary to defeat Ryan Garcia at the end of the day. But you know, when you pretty much taking the long route to get somewhere, you know what I mean? It could come with some, with some detours. If you feel what I'm saying, you know what I mean? I hope Devin Haney learns a lot from the situation and not fall victim to the psychological games, because if that's the case, you just opened up a whole blueprint on how to approach you in future fights from future opponents. If opponents see that you're that emotional and that all you gotta do is talk crazy to you in order to see you get out of your game plan, that's what they're gonna do from now on. They're gonna keep picking on you. They're gonna keep fucking with you. You see what I mean? Because what they ultimately want to do is get you off their game, get you off of the game that they feel is dangerous to their style, and get them to fight, get you to fight their fight, so they could come out victorious and make a name off of you, which is what Ryan Garcia ultimately did at the end of the day. You feel what I mean? In all honesty, man, I just hope to see Devin Haney go back to the drawing board, man, and make some adjustments, man. Not just psychologically, but in terms of his boxing skill, man. There's a lot of flaws that he has defensively that he has to address. He needs to get a defensive specialist in his camp. In all honesty, I'm not one of them dudes that believes Bill Haney needs to be removed from his camp. At the end of the day, man, with Bill Haney, Devin Haney was able to become undisputed in the 2-division world champion. So with that being known, and from what I know, he still has a WBC super lightweight title. You know what I mean? So he needs to at least see some optimism in that. Go back to the drawing board. Of course, rest. You know what I mean? Spend time with your family or whatever you feel is best for you, for your mental health and stuff like that. Heal, you know what I mean? Because you did take some damage, unfortunately. And, really assess what you did wrong in the fight. Watch the fight no matter how much it pains you, and make the adjustments necessary, man. Like, all right, I keep dropping my right hand. Let me just work on this for a couple weeks. You know what I mean? Let me work on this as sparring where I just strictly keep my right hand up the entire time. Like, build that muscle memory to correct those defensive mistakes. You know what I mean? And overall, just reevaluate your approach going into your next fight, man. Not to take things personal, take a strictly business approach, and, fight your fight at the end of the day. Don't go against your skill set, what you do best in order to appease your opponent or even the boxing fans. You know what I mean? If they think you boring, fuck it. As long as you winning, you know what I mean, they're going to continue to pay for your fight. So it is what it is. You see what I mean? Floyd Mayweather was the biggest selling fighter of all time. And a lot of people at the same time called him a boring fighter. But as long as you winning, they're going to continue watching you regardless of whether your style is, entertaining or not. You feel what I mean? And then I think that's what set Mayweather apart from a lot of people as well that Devin Haney could learn from, despite them having some type of issues right now, is that Floyd Mayweather never let the stuff outside of the ring bother him or go against what he does in the boxing ring. Like, we seen Conor McGregor, touch his head and disrespect him in all types of ways. We seen Ricky Hatton go at Floyd Mayweather. We seen Shane Mosley push Floyd and stuff like that. Like, we seen a lot of things. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, Floyd Mayweather stood true to himself, you know what I mean, and kept fighting his fight, and he was ultimately able to be successful because of that. You know what I mean? He kept his mental sharp, and he didn't allow nobody to really get him off of his square. Same thing with Zab Judah. Zab Judah hit him low, hit him behind the head. A whole scuffle broke out in the ring. But Floyd Mayweather kept his composure. You know what I mean? He could have easily, went ape shit after the fight resumed, but he still focused. You know what I mean? He continued to win the rounds and he came out victorious. So hopefully that's something that Devin Haney could, adjust and become better from moving forward. As long as you quit, you never fail. You feel what I mean? Devin Haney showcased a lot of heart. And hopefully this situation will make him better, you know what I mean? And hopefully he doesn't come back into boxing as a shell of himself. In terms of what's next for him, of course, it's Sandor Martin. You feel what I mean? Ryan Garcia, he said he'll give Devin Haney the opportunity or whatever, but regardless, I don't think that's going to be what's next due to the fact that Devin Haney has a mandatory to fulfill against Sandor Martin. So, you know what I mean? Come in, put on a great performance against Sandor Martin, and take the time that you need in order to rebuild your confidence and get right back in the mix. You see what I mean? So that's my overall take on the situation, man. I'm about almost 16 minutes in, so if you still tuned in and watching this video right here, it is very much appreciated. I'll be on live later on tonight to speak to the people, you know what I mean, address the nation and stuff like that. So be on the lookout for that. This is Mazuma TV. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm out of here, man. Peace.